Let's have a looky. Should we have a look at Mookie? Let's have a little look at Mookie. Another video from Gme AJ. Huge Wuthering Waves news and huge rewards. What's this for the Gme Awards? Oh, okay. Is Wuthering Waves up there? Are they going to be winning something? Potential Mobile Game of the Year award incoming? I don't know.
Yo, YouTube, AJ here, back at it again with another video. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about Cruel Games, the Game of the Year award for the mobile games. Yes, I know a lot of people probably are confused clicking on this saying, what? Didn't the Mobile Game Awards happen? Did Monopoly
No, that was Gamescom.
win? That is a small one, guys. We're now going to be talking.
Oh, wait, what? There was a separate Game Awards. See, there's so many different Game Awards now that just call themselves the Game Award. And he's like, hey, this is the Game of the Year. And he's like, which is the Game of the Year? And he's like, well, this guy says it's the Game of the Year. And these dudes said over here said that's the Game of the Year. It all doesn't mean shit, really, at the end of the day, does it?
About the big one, we're going to be talking about why players need to get ready to vote, as well as why there's going to be huge rewards that will come in if Cruel Games wins, as well as how it's going to affect you guys, not just in Wuthering Waves, but in the entire gacha space. But without further ado, if you guys like the content on the channel, make sure you hit a like.
I don't think it'll really affect the gacha space at all. I think it'll give shine a light on Wuthering Waves. I definitely do think that. And potentially we'll get some rewards for it, but I don't think it's going to change the gacha space. I still see a lot of people who I know within the gaming space, who I watch, who I interact with, when they're talking about in podcasts or whatever, and they're talking about video games and things like Genshin and Star Rail and Zenless, and Wuthering Waves gets brought up in some sort of conversation or something that was announced or something that was at a particular event. They just still don't care, you know? So hopefully, this is why I say I think the PlayStation launch is going to be super important for Wuthering Waves, because it's going to bring it to the normies, and I think they might actually give it a go. And I genuinely think there's a lot of people out there that are just totally not into gacha games or try the combat and be like, holy cow, this is actually kind of fire.
Comment and subscribe.
I think that with Genshin as well, to be fair, but I definitely think it with Wuthering Waves.
Lights on the channel. We're almost to 4K, then we're pushing towards 10K. I want to be the best WuWa creator in the space. I want to be the top one. So thank you guys for always supporting me and helping me out. Without further ado, let's get on to the video. Okay, guys, so a lot of you guys are confused. If you are still confused, the Mobile Game Awards are big awards, right? For mobile games. However, they're not the big one. They're not the one that everybody's gunning for. In fact, if you guys know, the Game Awards is slated for December 11, 2024. However, when you click on this, and I need to explain to you guys why it's important, and I have another tab here explaining the ins and outs. We're gonna go deeper for a second. It says live Thursday, December 12th, 10th anniversary. Now, this isn't just something.
And has it been 10 years already? Holy cow, I remember when Jeff started that shit up. It's been 10 years already. That's crazy.
Small that Cruel Games will be attending, guys. This is a very huge Game Awards. It's not like every other year where the Game Awards has always been a great show to showcase any games that are doing good. It also brings, when a game wins an award, people
not gonna lie though, it is really, at the end of the day, it is just a circle jerk. It's great for PR though. Most Game Awards really don't mean much. I'll tell you what the best Game Award is for any game is to sell really well and get critical acclaim within the community. That's the best award any game can get.
Also have that sense of the casual player base, right? Maybe I should go check that game out. Maybe I should be interested in this or give it a try, right? So mobile games fit in that category. A lot of people play games on the go.
See, it's the only problem for me. This is the one thing with Wuthering Waves. It's a shame that it gets tied to being a mobile game. I know it is a mobile game. I know it's on mobile, but I just feel like it's not a mobile game. It really isn't a mobile game. And I know that's stupid. It's an asinine comment because it's on mobile. It is fundamentally a mobile game, but you get what I'm saying. Anybody who's played the game gets it, and especially if you played it on a PC, you get it, and when you play it on console, you'll get it. It's really not one of those games. It's a mobile game in that regard. You know, you've probably played mobile games on console, on PC, and you're like, okay, this is definitely a mobile game. This game's not, and I'd like to see it in some, not proper categories. I guess that's a bit disrespectful and kind of crapping on mobile games, but you understand what I'm saying. In some of the big boy categories, actual full-on game categories, so it gets put up there with like PC and console games, and hopefully maybe when it drops on PlayStation that'll change. Maybe because it being on PC it won't get that, but maybe when it comes to PlayStation it might get in some of the more prestigious categories, shall we say.
Or a lot of people know that a lot of these gacha games are able to be played on PC and console. If you guys remember, there is the Tokyo thing coming up. I do expect the PlayStation release date. Now,
yeah, I've been saying this. I think at the Tokyo show, we're going to get a release date. We're going to get a playable build with it as well. And we're probably going to get some information on how the game's going to run, hopefully, you know, frame rates and all that sort of stuff, some specs and performances and all that sort of stuff. So, and probably a release date. I hope we do anyway, because, like, you know, PlayStation Nation needs to get their hands on this game. And I think the whole of people who enjoy this game as well, because it's just going to benefit the game in general, this coming out on PlayStation.
This is important. Why? A lot of eyes. This is the game show, guys. Now, if you remember from last year, right, guys? These were our nominees, if you remember. Final Fantasy Crisis, or whatever, 7 Ever Crisis, Hello Kitty Island Adventure. Still have never played that. I've never even heard of that until I saw this. Monster Hunter Now, Terra Nil, and the winner, as you guys see that's flashing on the screen with the confetti, was Honkai Star Rail. If you guys remember what happened back then when Honkai Star Rail won, this was it. Yes, HSR won a lot of other awards, but the TGA was the nail in the coffin to where, remember, Dr. Ratio was never intended on being free. He never was not going to be free, a limited 5-star unit as a character given out if they didn't win this. Because of this award, because of everything that was happening, we now ended up getting that free ratio, and they said thank you to the community, which is very rare for HoYoverse, guys. You have to understand.
It's not necessarily that it's rare for HoYoverse, it's just rare for Genshin players. It's like we spoke about that in that video earlier in regards to the new systems within Natlan. You know, Star Rail is quite generous, and it's massively generous in comparison to freaking Genshin. Like, I know HoYoverse in general a little bit tighter than a lot of the other games, but it's just because they're captain the head of the table. You know, they can eat everything. They don't have to share so much as everybody else does because they need to get a piece of the pie, so they have to share a little bit more. But they do definitely share a little bit more in Star Rail than they do in Genshin, because I swear, I feel like there's almost like a part of me that thinks Hoyo hates Genshin players somewhat.
Understand why that was huge at the time, and it started a controversy, if you guys remember, between HoYoverse and Genshin. Now we're going to talk about WuWa and how this is going to impact the space, but I need to give you guys that context because HoYoverse was not known to be that generous, but HSR is like their most generous game, even over ZZZ. Like, a lot of people, I think, if you're just being objective, look at that. Now, how does this affect Wuthering Waves? Well, because if you guys remember in the mobile game of the year video I did, Wuthering Waves was a runner-up. So look at these 5 choices, guys. What do you think? And let me know in the comments down below. What do you think are going to be the 5 categories or 5 games that are going to be nominated in the mobile game of the year? Now, me personally, if I'm going to make a decision,
I think Zenless Sound Zero is probably going to be in there. It's going to probably get in there. And I think if Zenless is in there, I think it'll probably win it. Because, you know, I just think that's the way it's going to go. It's going to have more people voting for it. More people know about it. I think it'll win. I'd like Wuthering Waves to beat Zenless in that regard. Not that I've got any skin in the game, but I guess I just want to see the game kind of get some love because I think it's a really good game. I would imagine Zenless would probably be in there. I don't know, maybe we could see maybe something like Love and Deep Space. You know, do you reckon AFK Journey could potentially get in there or something? They seem to be doing really well, don't they? Maybe the Naruto game potentially. What else? I don't know. I'm trying to think. What else? Anyway, yeah, I think there's going to be a lot more competition this year. I do. But I suppose it just depends how the actual entry works at the end of the day. I'm not 100% sure. Like, how do you get shortlisted for the Game Awards? Maybe he's going to say, because I'm not 100% how you get shortlisted in this in the Game Awards. Actually, man, that was a struggle to say,
right, guys. This is going to be very hard for WuWa, but I think, and this is where, if you're a Genshin fan, if you're a Hoyo fan, if you're a Wuthering fan, I think everybody should band together, and why I think you should vote for Wuthering, and I'm going to get into that. But I think the 4 categories will be Genshin, ZZZ, Honkai, WuWa, and Monopoly Go, because Monopoly...
Genshin could be in there, I guess, but I don't think it should, because up until Natlan, it's not really done much at all this year. It's not really done much at all. It's been a really slow year for Genshin. And even with Natlan coming, it's had its controversy. A lot of people have got some criticisms with it. I can't really say that because I haven't played it. Obviously, we saw with the artifacts of that whole situation. That's kind of crummy. Um, yeah, I think at the end of the day, you should just vote for which game you think should get it, really.
He was the winner, if you guys remember, of the Game Awards. Now, here's the thing, guys. The voting will be taking place soon. So, in my honest opinion, does WuWa have a chance to win it all this year? Does WuWa have a chance to where it's like this? HSR, where it's shining? Yes, a high chance. And one of the things is, guys, WuWa is rewarding their players not only for just, you know, just playing the game and they're appreciative. If they win something like the Game Awards, we are probably going to get something huge. This is around December time. I don't know what characters are going to be releasing then. I don't know if there's like a like, guys, you don't understand. A company that's giving out a free Zhang Liao that's rewarding. The PGR players even tell me all the time, like, hey, this is nothing new. If they win the big one over HoYoverse, right? And they reward us players, like, dude.
I just don't even feel it happen, you know? I just feel like there's just Hoyo's on a different level in terms of fan base and this global attraction outside of this little niche of content creators in America and Europe talking about gacha games that just, like, you know, it's not even going to be thought about. Like, I think we think of ourselves in this little bubble, but there's like so much outside of it. Like, I would like it to win. Of course, I really enjoy the game. At the end of the day, I'm not entirely that fussed. I guess it's probably because I'm a light spender. I don't necessarily need lots more free stuff from Kuro because I feel like they've been giving us loads of stuff and I want the game to just be successful now. I want them to start earning real revenue. Awards are great. They're all good. They're good to put on the mantle. But I want to see the game really getting decent revenue. That's enough revenue for them to really, really start going hard on the game. And hey, these awards might help out. But yeah, I think I'd rather lose the award and then get some really good revenue than vice versa. But you never know. Maybe they can do both.
You guys don't get it, like, man, like, and a lot of things, like, and here, let's just go ahead, let's just do this real quick while I'm at it and while we're talking to you guys. If you guys remember Genshin Impact, basically, right, guys? Like, I'm not a fan of Genshin Impact.
Nah, I don't remember that dead game. What's that? Pfft, never heard of it. Some, like, small game, yeah, indie game. I don't think that many people know about it.
Not the biggest one, but I'm not a hater of Genshin either. One of the things I would like to say is, you look at Genshin's update, right? Just everything they're doing is because of Wuthering Waves. And I mean that, and I'm telling you guys that truthfully, like, even as I'm scrolling down, right? And we're going to get to
I do agree that they have made some changes, I do, but they've not been that great, have they, really, looking at, like, how Natlan's gone along. They've made changes. You would expect them to really shift quite a lot, but they're just kind of shimmy, don't they? They're shimmy. And the thing with Genshin is people are so attached to it. Hoyo can literally just shimmy and everybody's like, oh, you know what I mean? And they go wild, the crowd goes wild kind of thing. So, yeah, we're definitely making, I guess Kuro are making Hoyo make moves, but not massive moves, personally.
Genshin's big updates and stuff like that soon over here for Natland. You're, like, looking at all the free rewards they're giving out for Natland, everything like that.
They definitely have been more generous by the looks of things with this update.
Free 5-star, right, was a direct counter to WuWa's success. Like, all this stuff that Natland's getting hyped for, right, is because WuWa has been rewarding players since day one.
I think that might be part of it, but there's part of me thinks it might be a little bit more cynical as well, because you know where there was the old boycott over Natland, even though I know Hoyo knew that wasn't going to go anywhere, because it wasn't. They got the data. Anybody who was in the space zone knew it wasn't going to go anywhere without the data. That don't work, and they're not going to work with a game like this. Hoyo are not going to care for one, and people are just not going to stop playing the game. Right, there's part of me thinks it was a little bit more cynical in that way, to kind of shush those people up, and the people that were potentially contemplating, even though I don't think they would have, but might have been contemplating, maybe being like, well, you know what, actually I am going to skip it. We're like, oh, free 5-star. Yeah, sorry, I can't do that. That part of me thinks it might have been more that than actually Wuthering Waves. Now, I'm not saying that Wuthering Waves hasn't had some impact on it, because, of course, Hoyo would be stupid not to. But I just think that Genshin's been out so long now, it doesn't necessarily need to worry about a new up-and-coming game. You know, I think Hoyo need to worry more about how Star Rail competes with that and how Zenly Zone Zero competes with it and potentially the next game. Because let's face it, Genshin's been out for 4 years now. I don't think they need, even if Genshin died in the next 6 months, Hoyo are not going to care. They've made so much money out of it. It was inevitable. It's going to die down at some point. So I don't really think Hoyo see Wuthering Waves as a threat to Genshin like that, in my opinion, because it might have been a threat 2 years ago, maybe even a year ago, but I just think that the game's at a point now where I don't think they're that bothered, if I'm honest.
They're appreciative of,
and that's not to say they're not going to keep wanting to make money. Of course they are. But you understand where I'm coming from.
Compete in some way. They know they can't sit back and relax anymore, because guess what? It's a competitive market again. If WuWa was to win and give us a reward, Genshin's going to be like, oh man, here we go again. And I just don't know if Genshin was to win, right? With all this stuff they're showing you guys right now, if Genshin wins.
Like, obviously, from a game standpoint, Wuthering Waves is competition. But if you look from a financial standpoint, when we look at the gacha revenue, it's really not, is it? There's other games that are actually a lot more competition for Hoyo than Kuro are. You know, with like this Love and Deep Space, AFK Journey, you know, the Naruto, all these games that keep popping in and doing 50, 60, 70 million plus. And then they drop off. But I feel like they're a little bit more competition from the financial side. Obviously, Wuthering Waves is definitely more competition from the gameplay style, because obviously it's very similar, isn't it? So, I don't think it's impacting Genshin as much as we believe it is. And I've said I do think it's been impacting Genshin quite a lot, but the more I look at it and that I've seen more of Natlan, I don't think it's impacted it that much, because they haven't really moved the needle massively. It's shifted, but not massively.
I don't think they're gonna reward anybody. You know what I mean? Like this whole thing, and I'm sorry it took so long to get there, guys. This 5-star selector, we did not. Like, where do you think it came from? On top of that, it's a little bit pathetic. And I want to say this, you made this far. That Genshin said, here's a free 5-star standard. You're 5 years in. It's your 5-year anniversary, right? And you want to give a standard. You can't give us a limited selector. It doesn't even have to be the new characters, right, guys? They could have gave you guys any characters from year 2, year 3, year 4. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be any of the new ones. Or if they didn't want to give, what's it called, a limited selector, they didn't have to do a standard selector. They could have gave, what did WuWa do? What did HSR do? And we're not going to say, oh, HoYoverse doesn't do that because HSR did that. They could have gave out one of the Natlan characters right now. It doesn't have to be, their version of Himiko, that, Archon, in Natlan. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know how to pronounce her name. I believe it's with an M. But that's why I'm saying this is very important for players to understand, especially if you made it this far, that if Genshin was to win, and I think Genshin and ZZZ are the two games I don't want to win, only because I'm not sure if they would reward you. And you guys have to understand, it makes waves in the gacha space. What Kuro is doing is affecting not only ZZZ, it's affecting Genshin, it's even affecting...
I don't know. Of course, rewards are good. I think we need to come back in a few months. I think from a quality standpoint, I definitely do think Wuthering Waves is affecting the gacha space in how other companies are looking and going, right, man, dude, they've raised the bar in terms of polish, in terms of quality, in terms of a tight, gorgeous, well-designed game. But I don't know when it comes to the monetization side of things, because they're not rocking the boat in the gacha revenue space, are they? So I don't think all these companies are looking and going, whoa, wait a minute, we've got to change everything because Kuro are here. Because Kuro made $13 million this month, I think it was. There's games that did $78 million that just came out. I just don't think they're making the impact that we think they're making. Now, at the end of the day, these are business people. They don't give a shit how polished Wuthering Waves is. They're looking at how much it's eating into the pie, and they're probably like, you know what? This game over here is eating into our pie way more, and it's some little mobile game. Do you know what I mean? So I don't think we should look into it too much, if I'm honest. I do think Wuthering Waves is going to affect some things that are going to get added to Genshin, inevitably, because just they're very similar. But I don't think it's really going to change the business practice of the genre in total, if I'm honest. I used to think it was going to a lot more, but I just don't think it is now. Now, that's not to say in 6 to 12 months' time that might change and Kuro's doing $60-70 million a month. Then that will change things because companies are looking and go, right, we need to follow suit. But until they get there, companies are not just going to be like, man, that's a real quality game, that is. We need to follow suit. They're going to look at where the money is, aren't they, at the end of the day? You know, AAA games don't follow the games that are really critically acclaimed. That's why we've got so many live services. Otherwise, we'd have games like The Last of Us dropping left, right, and centre, but they're not, are they? Games are chasing the live service because they know that's where the money is. It's not about quality, it's about return on investment. And I don't think Kuro's the leader in that regard yet, is he? I think it's a leader in the regards of quality, but definitely not in terms of revenue. And I think there's a fact of the matter when it comes to that side of things. I don't think Hoyo are fearing Kuro in that regard, if I'm honest.
HSR, like all these games now, guys, are competing against each other. The HSR dev team does not like the Genshin dev team. If you guys do your research and look internally, and I'm not even kidding, like there's been a lot of talk behind that where those two companies are even, I mean, it's in the same company, but those two games and their dev teams are very competitive. But well, I'm telling you guys, if WuWa...
That's good. That's natural. You know that's going to have been implemented top down from Hoyo to make them compete with each other, probably for benefits, probably for investment. You know, there's little stretch goals of like, hey, yo, you know, if you beat these guys, kind of how like when you work in a store. Like I remember when I used to work in B&Q, every week on a Tuesday, or whatever day it was anyway, we'd go down into like the greenhouse area and they'd get the board out and they'd show how much money each store across the country had made. And it was like your job to try and be the top store for the country. That didn't mean like you were beefing with the other stores. It was just like friendly competition. And at the end of the day, it was just to make freaking B&Q more money. It didn't affect us. We never got shit out of it. You know what I mean? All we get is a pat on the back and, hey, well done, man. You know? And I think that's probably the same sort of thing that's going on here. I don't necessarily think there's beef. But I could be wrong. But they're working under the same umbrella at the end of the day. It's going to be competitive because they're going to want to be the best branch or department within the corporation, aren't they?
Well, was to win and give out a crazy reward or a crazy character because of how generous they are, right? At that time, you know, this is going to impact all your other games. And I see it as a worldwide W for the gacha space. But yeah, guys, I wanted to get my thoughts out because we're approaching that date really.
I definitely think he's overestimating the impact of Wuthering Waves a little bit. And I love Wuthering Waves, but I definitely think he's overestimating just a little bit.
Really fast, right? Really heavy. And it's important all of us together, band together. If you like WuWa, support WuWa, because I know just the way this company operates. They reward their players. They just want to make the best game possible. You can go watch the CEO interview, man. You look at him. He's tired. He just wants the best game possible. This is the big one, guys, right here. This is, look at this, public tickets and sale November 1st. I really do think in a couple weeks here, guys, we're going to get the voting. So be prepared. I'll give everybody an update on it for what's being nominated where. I do believe WuWa, if I was to give it an instant lock though, and my final thoughts, WuWa and ZZZ are definitely going to be in here. I think Genshin will be, I think Genshin and HSR.
I don't think Genshin deserves to be in there. I don't think it does.
Like Penacony was crazy.
Star Rail, yeah. I think the potential it could be in there just because it won last year. It's, you know, it feels like, well, does it get to go again? But it doesn't mean it doesn't get to go again. But I feel like Star Rail could be in there. I don't really feel like Genshin deserves to be in there personally. Now, people who are playing Natland now might disagree and be like, nah, it's that good that it deserves to be in there now. But I just don't think it is from what I've been seeing from people. I haven't gone back to the game, so I can't really say to that. But yeah, Genshin's kind of been dry this year, really. So I don't think it deserves to be in there personally. But I think ZZZ is going to be in there. I do. I think Zenless is going to be in there. And I feel if Zenless is going to be in there, I feel like Zenless might pip it. I do. And that's not to say I think it deserves it. Zenless is a good game, though. But I just think it's just going to have more people voting for it, potentially. But if Star Rail's in there, I think that'll smash it, really. Be curious to see the other games that are in there, though.
Genshin, even if you don't like Genshin, you know, we can't ignore the huge like impact Natland is leaving right now. And the one big troll I would say out of all this you guys made it far is if Monopoly Go ends up in this damn category and they end up winning again. That would be the craziest. I can't even fathom that. Please like, comment, and subscribe down below. Let me know your guys' thoughts on who you guys think is going to be winning. Let me know your guys' thoughts on who do you guys think is going to be nominated in the category. That's it for this video, and I'll talk to y'all next time. Peace.
You might have to have a look. Hold up a second. Let me just get up the gacha revenue. All right, let's have a look. Let's have a look. Okay, so we got AFK journey at the top. Let's go back a month, actually. Let's go back a month. Actually, let's go back a couple of months and let's have a look how things have gone. Let's go back to May, right? Let's go back to May and let's have a look at China for Wuthering Waves. So it made 13.8 million in China and 12 million in global, okay? So Honkai made 55 million in China, with Naruto sitting at 49 million, Solo Level and Roy sitting at 40 million. Okay, let's roll on to June. And then we're talking 60 million for Star Rail, Genshin sitting at 38. This is China, and then followed up closely by Global. Naruto still in there with 27 million. Love and Deep Space nearly at 30 million. This was Wuthering Waves' best month. Actually, Global pipped China, 27 million, 90 million. Great month. Massive month here. Massive month. And then, you know, we come into July, and then Wuthering Waves is all the way down here, which we know it wasn't a great month. And then we come into August, and where's Wuthering Waves? Wuthering Waves all the way down here, 8 million for global. What about China? Where's China? Oh, damn, it's even lower in China, 5.5 million. See, that's something I think is definitely worth looking at. The fact that China dropped down so far down the rankings. Again, I think from a gameplay standpoint, Hoyo are looking at Kuro and being like, okay, we see ya. But I think from a non-monetary standpoint, I don't think all of these companies are looking at Kuro going, right, we have got to change everything. Because if we don't, we're going to be left in the dust. Because let's not pretend that they're crushing it in that regard. You know, they're still making crazy money, and hopefully it's enough money that's good for Kuro, and we still continue to get a great game, because it's my favourite gacha game out of all of them. Now, I like Star Rail, I like Genshin. I'm not one of these people who's like, I don't like those games. I do. I think they're both great games. I like Solo Leveling and Rise as well, you know? So I just think it's a notable thing to look at, this idea that it's going to change the gacha space if they win the Game of the Year award, and if they're going to give something free, everybody's going to be like, right, that's it, everybody's going to start giving away free stuff. It's just not going to happen. That's not how these games work, and these guys are making money because the games don't necessarily work like that. They're just making crazy money, but for whatever reason, they're hype at the moment, and that's what Wuthering Waves needs to do. It needs to get the hype, not so much giving away free stuff. That's not going to get it to the top of the leaderboard. It's going to be good for us, but it's not necessarily going to be good for them in terms of revenue, and it's not going to make other companies look and go, oh, well, look how generous they are, but they're making a fifth of the money we're making, so yeah, we're not going to do that. They're just not going to, are they, at the end of the day? Why would you drop your revenue from 46 million to 10 million, 15 million to be generous to the player base? You're not going to, are you? And I'm not saying that's why they would drop, but I'm just trying to make that comparison that I think people are over-exaggerating the impact that Kuro are going to make on the space in regards to how generous they are in the game. I think how well the game is made is going to be a big factor. And I think we're going into the golden age now of gacha games, in terms of we've got lots of games coming up soon that seem like the quality, the bar is getting set higher and higher and higher. And that's the best thing, in my opinion, for us. I'm not too bothered about getting free stuff all the time. I just want good games to play. I don't want the game to be about, oh, what's the next banner? Oh, I've got to get this. Oh, I've got to get that. I want content at the end of the day. And I want them to make enough money to keep giving me content. So yeah, just wanted to put that up there, because I don't think it's a big as factor as a lot of people are making out. Although it's important, you know, especially for players. But yeah, I just don't think it's that big a factor on the entire space. And I don't think it's going to change the entire space that much, if I'm honest. But it was a good video though, guys. You should definitely check out Gme AJ. He makes some great content. You should show him some love. And go drop him a sub and a like and all that good stuff. Yeah, I must admit, I just don't think it's as big a deal as some people are making out, you know what I mean?